everybody, thanks a lot for joining me today. You're in for a bit of a declutter right now. I kind of struggle with these, honestly. I feel like a lot of times when I'm going through my collection and I'm trying to get rid of things, I can almost always make the case for keeping something. Like, I'm great at coming up with reasons why a certain thing needs to hang around, and especially in the context of doing reviews and kind of wanting to keep certain things because, oh, I might work that into a future video or compare it to something else. There are a lot of reasons why I can keep something, but I found a way, and I might continue to use this for a lot of future declutter sessions. I found a way to really make it easy on myself, and it's basically, I've got 3 bags, okay? You could use makeup bags. I just had some extra Ziploc bags hanging around, and so that's what I pulled out. And each of the 3 bags is a different reason for decluttering. One is simply not loving it. It might have been a texture problem with the product. It might have been a color that just was never quite right for me. Whatever it may be, if I wasn't enjoying the product, that's the bag it's going into. Then I had a bag that's not using it. If I felt like I was constantly running across things in my collection where I thought, gosh, I can't even remember the last time I picked that up, and I'm frankly not that interested in it, and it's maybe not a really like hot new product, so I'm just kind of not feeling it, not using it, sort of apathetic about these products, you know, that's the bag that's gonna go into. And then my other categorization here is simply too old. If I know it's been around a really long time, there might be evidence even on the container of like, oh, you're only supposed to keep this for 6 months, and I know it's been a heck of a lot longer than that, you know, it's gonna go into the too old bag. So not loving it, not using it, or too old. And I found myself getting rid of a lot of stuff really quickly just thinking about those 3 things rather than picking up one item and just really thinking, struggling to gather my thoughts about it or think about all these reasons. I feel like this simplifies it and made everything happen a lot faster. So the kinds of products that we're talking about in this declutter, I went through foundations, primers, concealers, some powders as well, and even a few sort of skincare oriented things. So I thought it would be really easy to present this to you, just kind of going bag by bag. And I'm gonna start off with the things that I wasn't loving. And this is about how much I have in here. I'll just pull things out. There may not be any real rhyme or reason here, but this Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin, thought I would really enjoy this stuff, but I did not feel like it wore very well on me at all. I thought it had a very cakey, very just apparent look on my skin. So not into that. This is a foundation that I feel like I could like, but this shade is just so yellow on me. It's the ABH Luminous Foundation. And in case you're wondering, this is 270C that I'm holding here. But very, very yellowy. But honestly, I do have so many foundations still, it's unlikely that I'm gonna seek this one out again. I've got a lot of really great kind of luminous, glowy products that I like, and I'm probably just gonna let that go. I doubt our paths will cross again. Recently, I used this CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless in my video where I was only using the applicators provided. So this does come with a little sponge, and I use that. And this just kind of comes under the heading of good but not great. I had some okay coverage with it. I didn't think the staying power was incredible. This product kind of walks the line between not loving it and really just not using it very much in general. Okay, this MAC Mineralized Moisture SPF 15 foundation. I have it in NW15, and it is a little bit on the light side for me, but when I have used this, I feel like I always get some little breakout, like not a big like problematic zit, but just like little surface kind of breakouts. Maybe it's just a little too rich for me, which is odd because I do use some very rich moisturizers. I feel like I pack a lot of hydration into my morning skincare routine generally, but something about this foundation, putting this into the mix, it was just a little much, so I don't think that one's gonna work for me. What's left in this bag is a bunch of concealers. I got this one from Tarte, and it's the Shape Tape Glow Wand. This shade that it was sent to me, and it's called a light. It's okay, but here's the thing. This is supposed to be, I think, a little lighter and a little glowier than regular Shape Tape, but for it to perform that function for me, it needs to be even brighter and lighter in color than this is. And I mean, I've used it, and I was just kind of ho-hum about it. My concealer area was probably the most packed area of my entire makeup collection, so I really needed to just let some things go. Another thing here, this Estee Lauder Double Wear Radiant Concealer. Not a big fan of this stuff. I feel like there are so many things that are hydrating these days that provide really amazing coverage. So this one I'm not going to keep around. This one from Dalton, I think you guys heard me talking about this recently. It's the This Covers Everything concealer, and frankly it just doesn't cover everything. They have another concealer with a doe foot applicator that I have still in my drawer that I think is much better, so that's what I'm going with. Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. I don't know how this has survived so many other decluttering sessions because I never find myself wanting to use this. I don't really love the effect of it. Again, I think there's more coverage in so many other concealers that I would reach for, and I'm just not finding a lot of redeeming qualities in this that make me say, oh, I need that concealer. I want to keep it. Also, this Veil Retouch thing from Hourglass. I think it was like last year I remember using some of this, and why are the shades on some of these, I don't know if they've darkened over time, but it just seems a little too dark here. This is the color Natural, and it's just like a really light concealer that you can use to touch up with, sort of, and I don't find myself using it at all. Just really don't reach for it, and again, it pans out to be something so light. More often than not, when I'm reaching for concealer, I'm thinking coverage. Give me some more coverage. It's just a no for me. I'm sorry. A couple of these products that have the click-up pins, this is probably my least favorite type of concealer format. I've got one here from Laura Mercier, and it's the Candle Glow. I have it here in the shade 0.5, and I feel like maybe something's happened with the texture. It feels like it's almost thickened a little, but I don't think it really is that old. It's kind of one of those, what function are you serving for me? Because you're not really full coverage, but you are kind of glowy. I feel like the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Brightener shade really has a lot of products in this category completely beat because it has actually some amazing coverage for what it is, but it is also really lifting and brightening. So that's kind of my benchmark that I compare a lot of things of this nature to, you know, these glowy, is it a concealer, is it a highlighter, what the heck is it? I've got this CoverGirl Simply Ageless Instant Fix as well, and I really do not like this applicator. It's kind of like a spongy thing, and the product could be just the one I have, I'm not sure, but when I twist it up, I feel like I'm twisting, and then boosh, volcano of concealer comes out. It's always way more than I need, and I just don't like that packaging method. I don't need to mess around with that. It's just taking up space. So those are all the things in that bag that I decluttered for the reason of, you know, I just don't really love it. Not saying they're all the worst products in the world, but if you've got kind of a crowded collection, I mean, it's easy to come up with the reason for those to go, I thought. Now in this bag, we have quite a few things that I am just not using. I kind of pulled from my skincare area here for a few things. This e.l.f. Glow Up Primer Serum. I honestly don't know. Like, I've got several other primer serums. I have a few that I really, really like. This one just has not really done much, so it's gonna just get set aside. This from Bobbi Brown. This is kind of pretty. It's the Bobbi Brown Extra Illuminating Moisture Balm in Golden Glow. Kind of a neat product. I mean, it's just very, very glowy. It kind of just makes me think liquid highlight, but in trying it out again recently, I feel like the shade is maybe just a little deeper than I need, and that might be deterring me from pulling it out a lot, but that one's gonna go. This Rose All Day Oil-Free Serum from Physicians Formula. I have a rose kind of face oil that I'm holding on to from Milani that I like a little bit better. This serum, it's kind of just, if I can't answer the question, what is it really doing for me, it's kind of falling into this bag. Okay, how about from the primer section? Moisture sticks that I just kind of haven't been reaching for. The Prep and Hydrate Balm that I used recently in a video, I could tell the stick is actually shrinking a little bit within itself. There's a sign that it's maybe not in its prime anymore, but I just hadn't been using that in comparison to the big one that I love, which is the one from Found. The cooling stick from Found is kind of like overarching above all else. I really love that one, and I love the one from Hard Candy, and all these others are kind of like not getting used as a result. This one, this packaged like a panda. I mean, do you know how many declutters this has survived simply because it looks like a little panda bear? But, you know, I've not been using it. Also, another one from e.l.f., the Glow Primer Stick with Coconut and Shea Butter. Not a bad product, just not getting used at all. This thing from Becca, they call this the Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer. Honestly, I don't feel like it's got enough moisture in it. It really does have a nice smooth feel, but the anti-fatigue thing, like, I just don't get it. It really doesn't feel cooling. Another thing that doesn't even have a name on it. Like, I don't know what the name of this product is, but I think it was kind of like an under eye primer balm type deal. And again, it's just a step I'm not reaching for. Some of these are just extra things that, as you can see, it might kind of complicate the routine a little bit, might take me a little longer, just another thing, and I'm not using it. Never found myself using this mattifying primer from CoverGirl. I think CoverGirl has a lot of great primers. I absolutely love the moisturizing one, but this mattifying I am not going for. Not that I don't really like it, it's just I'm not using it. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter my Fenty foundation here, the Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. I've never been huge on this. I wouldn't go as far as to say I dislike it, but you know what I really like that's very similar to this is my Catrice. This one called HD Liquid Coverage. I think I actually like it even better than this one. I would say if you're wanting thin, lightweight, matte coverage, this one actually wins for me. Two more things in this bag. This little trio of powders from Physicians Formula. It's their Mineral Wear 3-in-1 setting powder. There's a banana shade, which I really don't ever go for really super yellow tone powders. A pink one and a white one, and just, you know, no. It's kind of cool that they've put 3 powders in one, 3 tones in one, but for some reason I'm turned off, like I'm not picking this up. Too many other powders I enjoy, and I don't think I'm really looking for the colored powder option so much. Now, if Besame did something like this, I do really like their different setting powders, and their rose one's really good, the violet one. I just love the formula so much that that would draw me in, but this not so much. And then I really don't use this banana contour stick from Anastasia. I found it in with my color correcting type things. It's super short, like there's nothing in there. I mean, this came in a Sephora Play box, I think, and it's got some coverage to it, but it's just, I don't think that's a tone that I'm gonna really end up enjoying. It's very yellowy, hence the name Banana. So yeah, not bad, just not using it. There's just not room for everything. We gotta let some things go, right? My last bag here is stuff that I believe is simply way too old to be used. First off, this IT Cosmetics CC bronzer. Not sure that they even make this product anymore, but it gives you like a really pretty glow, and I liked it sometimes as a mixer type deal, but I really honestly haven't used it that much for a long time anyway, and it's just hanging out with my other IT Cosmetics CC products, and finally I zoned in and I'm like, you're too old to still be here, so goodbye. Both of these CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made foundations, I actually think this is a pretty darn good foundation formula, but both of these I can tell just sort of looking through the glass, like I can see some separation there where I've used the product down a bit. Good coverage, nice long wearing matte foundation, honestly, but I just know they've been around a little too long. I have those in M30 and M20. Oh man, this has been in my collection forever. My Urban Decay All Nighter. One of the fullest coverage foundations. I mean, it really goes there. This was kind of the first thing that sort of rivaled that Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover for me that really could take out my melasma. Well, this could too, and it felt a little more foundation-y, a little more liquidy, but still, it's thick. It's a lot of coverage, but I've just had it kind of in the back of my drawer for the longest time, and I just know it's, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting it on my skin again. If that is the feeling I have, I got that little anxiety feeling before I would pick one of these up to use it, it probably needs to go. This from NARS, this Velvet Matte Skin Tint SPF 30. I like this product too. I thought this was a good lightweight, actually surprising little bit of coverage in this product. I don't know if I'd call it a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer. It kind of seems more like a skincare product, but it does have some coverage and it's not super shiny and glowy. I liked it, but I've had it too long. Same story with the Peach Perfect here from Too Faced. I actually kind of like the peachy smell in this. It is pretty strong. It's kind of odd that that's in a foundation, but the Comfort Matte Foundation, decent product. I have it here in light beige, but I do think it's a little too old to be using. Now here's an interesting one. I don't think this is technically too old, but wait, yes it is. Expiration 10/19. But the thing is, just by the look of it, it looks so chunky and like separated, and even though I shook it, like, you gotta see this. The Perricone No Makeup Makeup. I mean, what's going on in that bottle? I don't even want to know. My MAC Water Weight Concealer. Cool product, but I do have one from Catrice that's really, really the same kind of thing, and I know I've had that for a while. Much like my All Nighter foundation, I'm gonna get rid of my All Nighter concealer. Good coverage, but you know, it's been too long. And also this Master Conceal from Maybelline. This might be the oldest thing here. Do they still make this? When that's also a question I find myself wondering about. You know, it might be time to let it go. This is really good coverage, really thin concealer. I remember loving it, but too old. My Josie Maran Vibrancy. It survived kind of a will I declutter it type of video, I feel like, in the past. It's a good formula. It feels hydrating and it's pretty brightening, like a nice look on the skin, but I just know it's been with me too long. And Josie Maran's products, like, they're very natural, you know? I've had some things from her where I've kept it too long and it's had kind of a smell to it, so that's a good sign that it's time to let it go. This anti-aging armor from IT Cosmetics. This is a really cool seeming product. Like, it's got the SPF 50 and it says super smart skin perfecting beauty fluid, and it has a tint. I wish this wasn't as old as I know it is because it seems kind of cool, but I haven't been using it and it's just kind of gotten old on me. And then finally, my Milk Blur Stick. Another one of those things where the size of the stick has gotten a little bit shrunken inside the tube, so there's a sign it's been around for a while. Not a terrible product or anything like that, but I just know we gotta part ways. All right, guys, so those are my 3 bags of the things I am decluttering. It has lightened my load considerably, where my foundations, my concealers, really help me out with concealers, and also my primers and kind of skin prep steps. Really amounts to a lot as I lift these bags up. I mean, it's pretty heavy. So I feel good about this. I would love to know in the comments section, like, what is your thought process that you go through as you declutter? I mean, do you just kind of rapid fire grab things out, or do you sometimes struggle with, you know, what reason would I let this go for? I really like the idea of not loving it, not using it, or too old. And then there were some things that I ran into that I really couldn't come to a clear decision on, mainly because I maybe had forgotten what I thought of the product, or I just wasn't sure. And I think that's okay to keep those things around. I think they're a good candidate for sort of a last chance tutorial process. In terms of doing videos, I might pull them into a tutorial where I'm like, okay, here's your last shot. Let's really analyze the way this product's working for me or isn't working for me. And at the end of the video, we decide what we let go of. I did run into several things that are probably gonna make their way into a video like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.